Hello everyone, this is Spliced, and welcome to a feat build video. This is going to be a video on my new feat build for Berserker. I call it a feat build because that's what it's built around. It is a weird 4v4 double refined build that I came up with, and I call it the beefcake build because it makes him a very sturdy character on both sides. He's really offensive but also really defensive. He's offensive when he doesn't have revenge, but when he does have revenge, he is a defensive character. So basically, the idea around this character is you're very offensive when you don't have revenge, but when you get revenge, that's when you use your feats and you use those to kill enemies, because even though you don't have that much damage with your revenge, the feat will carry you all the way and do all the damage that you need, even if you don't have that much built into it. So I'm going to go over all the stats real quick for you guys. So for the head, we have defense 2.5% and exhaustion recovery 80%. So I would like to be in favor of the defense, but I'm not too picky with this kind of thing where one slider is above the other. It's really hard to grind for that certain thing, and it wastes a lot of steel. So it's not a big deal, not too bad. It would just make it go like an extra 1 or 2%, which is not too big. But you want to always get defense and attack, the top stat. You always want to have that positive. And then I have exhaustion recovery. That's a no-brainer. You gotta have, when you go out of stamina, when you're in those situations when you don't have revenge, you want to be able to get that back really fast. So the reason why I have negative 23% debuff resistance is because getting bleed or fire on you is not as likely as people think it happens, as long as you are you know the enemies that are coming. So for example, if an enemy uses shaman, Nabushi, peacekeeper, if you know that those enemies are on the enemy team, you just got to be aware of those bleed attacks and just get ready to parry or block those. Then we're going on to the chest, the Hengel's chest. This is 2.9% defense, revenge mode defense, and revenge mode duration. This is an equality build going across the board. The reason why I did this is because all the stats are viable. You want to have all of them positive. You don't want to have negative on any of these. You want to have defense positive so you can block as many damage as possible, especially with an assassin that has hyper armor where you're revolving around tanking hits while trading. Revenge mode defense up and revenge mode duration. Now, I would, in some cases, probably get rid of the defense for revenge mode, but because we rely on the defense on revenge mode for this build, you have to keep it in. But for other builds, I might sacrifice like non-revenge mode defense and then beef up the duration and defense instead. Then we have defense plus 3.7% and stamina cost reduction 20%, and then negative stamina regen. So stamina regen is not really that big of a deal, and the reason for that is because if you have really low stamina cost for your attacks, you can actually kill an enemy before you run out of stamina. And if you get parried and you run out of stamina, then your exhaustion recovery will simply fix that for you, and you'll get back to full stamina. Also, since this is built around feats, you got to understand what your feats do and which ones you'll be working towards and benefiting off of your build. So for example, when you kill an enemy with Bounty Hunter, which is one of the feats I'll get into later, it gives all your stamina back. So if you kill the enemy when you're low on stamina or you're out of stamina, you'll instantly get all your stamina back. Plus, you're going to have a lot of revenge in this build, so you don't really have to worry about running out of stamina. And of course, you want to keep defense positive at all times. And so that's why I chose that. Now we're going on to the weapons, and this is the interesting part. This is where the build is totally flipped on its head, and you have to play totally different than you would usually play. So attack is at 3.7% and defense penetration 12%. So I would like to have attack over defense pen, but I want to have both of them. Reason for this is because attack is more important than defense pen. As long as you have around like 8% defense pen, you could probably get rid of all the defense that an enemy has. And so now you might be thinking, what is the point in having defense on a character if everyone's going to have defense penetration and then just get rid of your defense? Well, I did some testing early on, a little bit ago when they first made these changes with defense pen, and I realized that if you're at 0%, defense penetration still penetrates and gets rid of like non-existent defense pretty much, and what that means is if anyone has a damage build in any way, you'll be taking more damage than regular damage. So what you need to do is you need to buff up your defense to negate the defense penetration so that the damage build will be doing not as much as for example, getting negative defense. If you're in negative defense, you actually take a lot more damage than you would expect. But anyways, this is not really a too picky build in terms of like having attack over defense or defense over attack. Block damage, always want to put that in negative. You really don't need block damage because the chip damage is really just not that much at the moment in the game, and I really hope they buff it in the future for certain attacks because it's really just depressing damage. It's very low, like 4 damage, like 5 at most if you get some sort of revenge build or something, but it's just not really that worth it. Then we go on to, okay, so this is interesting. And when you look at this, you might think, okay, this is really stupid. This build sucks. Trust me, there's a reason why I did this. And again, it's built around the feats. So attack is at 7%. This is the most you can ever get out of a build, except your revive speed. You can actually get it to, I think you can get 10% attack out of this if you sacrifice that last little bit of revive speed, which I might grind for a little bit later on, but again, you have to grind out a double refined item and then get the exact thing that you want. It's really hard RNG, and I don't think I want to buy my way to that, but maybe I'll just grind for it over time. But essentially, you want to max out attack here, and the reason why is because if you're not in revenge, you want to be able to do heavy damage with Berserker still, since you're still going to be getting that hyper armor trade-in with the heavies and stuff. And if you max out your attack, wow, you do like serious damage with this character. On top of that, your execution health regen at negative 48%. What are you thinking, Spliced? That's how you get your HP back into minion. But you need to understand that since this is a feat build, you're going to be relying on your bounty hunter feat, and you're going to be relying on point capture HP. Those are the two things, the two ways of your playstyle you're going to be going for. Revive speed at negative, because mostly this is kind of subjective. I'm more of a solo player. I don't really go for revives, unless if, you know, I clear all the enemies and then I go for revives. But reviving during battle is not really a thing I do, unless if they're preoccupied with another teammate. So max out attack here, and then we go on to the final one, the offhand axe head. So this is attack plus 5.6% and revenge gain at 26.7%, but we have negative revenge mode attack. Excuse me? You're a berserker. You want to have as much damage as possible. See, this is really interesting, right? No matter how much damage you don't have, if you go full negative attack, full negative revenge mode attack and everything, you can still one-shot people depending on your feats. And it's really cool, really interesting, because if you actually build your character around feats for the Berserker specifically, you can actually cut out a lot of unnecessary things for your build. So positive attack, of course, because if you don't have any feats and you don't have revenge, you want to be able to do damage still. Revenge gain is so important because when you get into those 1vx situations, you want to get your revenge gain immediately. Like as soon as you take a hit, you want to get like revenge instantly. Revenge is key for this character as well for certain things. So revenge mode attack at negative 17%. Remember, when you use revenge, all your natural stats like attack and defense that you see on the top, they don't count. So anything that you get out of revenge, those stats, they don't apply. It's only when you go into revenge that these new stats apply. So revenge mode attack, when I go into revenge, I will have negative 17.7% damage. I will not have extra damage. I do believe revenge mode has its natural increase of damage. I don't know how much it is at the moment. I think it's like a 25% increase in damage. So really, I'm only getting like a 10% increase in damage right now, or like 8% increase. It's not that much, but it's still positive. But it doesn't matter because this is what I'm going to show you. The feats. So here we go. This is the bread and butter of this character, the beefcake build. Bounty Hunter is a must get. Passive, gain health and stamina when you kill another hero. When you kill another hero, you gain a bar and a half, I believe, of HP, or to 2 bars. I don't remember the exact amount, but it is a decent amount. It's about the same as an execution, but you don't have to execute. You just kill them, and as soon as they die, you get HP. If you throw them off a ledge and they die, get HP. If they bleed out, HP. And you also get full stamina when they die. So if you're like in a 1vx situation, you are low on stamina and they're bleeding out or something, and then they die, you're full stamina and you can just start going again. Doom Banner, also a must-have. This one's a little trickier to use, but you should use this Doom Banner. I know a lot of people say that this sucks and it's really bad because people will just leave, but the way you're going to play this character is you're going to be camping bases. You're going to go to B, you're going to clear it out, then you're going to go back to a base and stay there and heal up and then defend it. Mainly, the way where you want to go with this character is where bases are being contested or going to be contested, because if you kill people on contested bases, you get more renown, which will get your feats up. You want to rush feats with this character. Doom Banner will make them do less damage, but also have less defense, which means you'll do more damage to them. Very good. Less attack means that you'll be more defensive as a character as long as they're in it. And if you're in a 1vx situation, then they're going to have to get into the Doom Banner to fight you. And most of the time, like I'd say 90% of the time when you're in those situations, they're just so, a lot of people tunnel vision to kill you, and they don't really care about the feats that are all around them and stuff like that. They're just like, whatever, it's a Doom Banner, it won't do anything to me. But really, it does a lot. It does a lot. It's like a revenge aura that you can put down, essentially, for yourself. And then you have, and this stacks with all feats and all damage and stuff like that. Is amazing. Sharpened Blade, must have, 100%. It's something you need to have. If you do not have this, your character will not succeed. The bleed damage for this character is everything. Bleed damage, for some reason, has never been nerfed since Season 1. And whenever you have bleed and then you use Revenge or Doom Banner or Fear itself, this damage stacks. So if you have Revenge and then you do a zone, you can one-shot someone with this build, even though you have negative 17% Revenge. This is bread and butter. You need to have Sharpened Blade. It is a must-have. And then, of course, Fear itself. Now, the reason why I have Fear itself, instead of Berserker, I would normally have Berserker. It's a really good feat to have. Used to be. They nerfed it. It's really like it's only like 10 seconds long or something. It's very short, like, duration, and it takes forever for it to come back. It's not worth having Berserker anymore. Fear itself is it lasts a good amount of time. It lowers the defenses of everyone around you, and stamina, of course, for them as well. So it takes them. They can't really use that many attacks on you, which is really good. So if you use Doom Banner, Sharpened Blade, and Fear itself all at once, if you so please, I would recommend using them here and there. So Doom Banner plus Revenge, then Sharpened Blade plus Revenge, and Fear itself plus Revenge, so then you can keep the flow of battle going and get your feats back up. No matter which one you use with Revenge, you can one-shot with a zone, except for like Fear itself and Doom Banner with Revenge. You probably won't be one-shotting, but you'll be getting them really weak. And this is why I call it a beefcake build, is because the character is really strong, but it's also kind of like a fluffy, weak kind of character in other aspects. So if enemies get you into these situations that you're not supposed to be in, you'll be the cake. But if you get into the situations that you want to be in, you'll be the beef. And that's like why I call it the beefcake build, is because it's a very situational build and a very weird playstyle you have to go for. You have to be offensive to defend your own points to get your revenge, or not revenge, you gotta get a renown to get feats, to rush the feats. But then at the same time, you have to know when to use your feats. So this is just an interesting build I want to show for you guys. And here, of course, is going to be the stat overview. So we're at 9.15% total defense, which will negate the defense pen. Then you have plus 16.36 total attack, which is, you know, of course, like I said, I would prefer to have attack over the other stat. But, you know, I can't complain about stuff like this when you get the weapon and item you want. And then Revenge is positive for the defense stuff and only negative for the attack, and you want to max out Revenge again as well. So there you go, guys. That is the build for Berserker. I would show you the game. I did do this on stream. I got a 21 kill game right after I made this build. It's really successful, and as I tested it live, it worked perfectly. And I just wanted to share this with you guys. So if you want to use this build, feel free. It's very hard to get used to sometimes, but if you can get used to the playstyle, you can really absolutely melt people with the feats. And with that being said, enjoy this feat build. Hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.